Hey, I'm Ben Silverio,
And I'm Ansel Burch.
and it's
Time to
party.
We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly. Today's episode was recorded on November 26th, 2023.
The whole episode is going to be doing that.
Yep. I will talk about Muppet Christmas Carol. You will be the Rizzo.
Thank you for including me. Party people, welcome back. This month we are doing a special series known as Time to Christmas Party.
Wow!
Yeah. Yes, we here at the pod fully acknowledge that 2023 has been a rough year for people. So, in our attempt to bring Christmas and holiday cheer to all the good little kids around the world who listen to our podcast, because we all love you so much, we are looking back at some of our favorite Christmas movies. Sometimes they have time travel, sometimes they don't, but who cares?
That's right. We're just doing movies this time. Although this one, I think, arguably has some time travel in it.
It does. And I mean, technically, It's a Wonderful Life also did.
But in fact,
you know,
the same time travel.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. Otherworldly elements causing time travel. Yes, friends. This week we are talking to you about the phenomenal, the incomparable, the Muppet Christmas Carol.
The quintessential and authoritative Christmas Carol, if you ask me.
It's true. Honestly, didn't Michael Caine say that this was the most faithful adaptation of Dickens that he's done?
I believe that is accurate, yes.
Yeah, and you know, in case you don't know what the Muppet Christmas Carol is,
in case you still have the joy ahead of you of watching the Muppet Christmas Carol for the first time.
Yes. Oh God, do I envy you. Our good friends at IMDb describe it as such. The Muppets present their own touching rendition of Charles Dickens' classic tale. That doesn't tell us anything.
I mean, it's not wrong.
It's not wrong, but it doesn't really help.
What happens in it? Well, there's some Muppets. That's
yeah, you know. Well, Ansel, since you largely look like you belong in Muppet Christmas Carol times, why don't you tell them what the Christmas Carol's about?
What's a good way to logline this? I think that the way I would describe the Christmas Carol is that it's about Ebenezer Scrooge, who is visited by a series of ghosts who show him the importance of his actions on others and his place in society, and why being kind is more important than being rich. I think
Three ghosts tell old white man not to be a dick.
Four.
Well, five. In
this one, yes.
Yeah. A whole crew of ghosts.
Tell
a white guy not to be a dick. Oh, man.
Rich man realizes people matter.
You know, it's funny when we were talking about It's a Wonderful Life and how a lot of those things that George Bailey has to go through are still things that we still have to go through, and how relatable that is. Rewatching the Muppet Christmas Carol, I'm like, fuck, I have to deal with this shit still too. Unreasonable rent and landlords and you know, all that stuff.
From the 1800s to the 1930s to now,
not much has changed.
Or I guess no, 50s. Sorry, 1950s.
Yeah, 1950s. But up top, I wanted to mention this so it's not too much of a downer later in the episode. Part of the history of the Muppets Christmas Carol is that this is the first Muppet film to be produced after the death of Jim Henson.
Oh, yeah.
And it was such a hard hit for obviously everyone at the Henson Company, but like the world at large, because you know Jim Henson with his creations affected so many people, almost like the George Bailey effect. You know, the things that Jim Henson created to this day live on and bring people so much joy. So for Brian Henson in his feature film directorial debut to do this, and then to knock it out of the park, is such a great tribute to Jim, as well as Muppet performer Richard Hunt, who also passed away before this movie.
I didn't know about that.
He was a Muppet performer on Sesame Street, The Muppet Show, Fraggle Rock. You'd probably best know him as Scooter and Statler, Janice, and Beaker.
Gotcha.
But yeah, from such devastating loss to incredible joy to generations at this point. Because, you know, the movie came out in 92, even though the original came out in 1843. But
yeah.
But this version coming out in 92, it just I know everyone in our generation grew up with it, you know, and now people our age are passing it on to the next generation. I also want to bring this up, not just because like I want to name drop him or anything, but Steve Whitmore, who plays Kermit the Frog, among many other characters. He also performed Rizzo the Rat, Beaker, Bean Bunny. But I got to meet him at a con, and he talked to me in the Kermit voice, and the fact that I heard in Kermit's voice that he believes in me, I was just like, I could have died right there.
Oh, I hope he knows.
No, I agree. Yeah, I hope he knows how much he affects people. Unfortunately, he's no longer playing Kermit. It's a new performer.
Yeah, they got a new guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but he signed my copy of Muppet's Christmas Carol, and I cherish it.
Yeah,
all year round, just like how Scrooge carries Christmas in his heart all year round,
all the year. Yes.
What are your first memories of the Muppet Christmas Carol, Ansel?
Oh man, you know, I was trying to think about that earlier today, and I feel like Muppet Christmas Carol, as well as our last movie for the month, Year Without a Santa Claus, I feel like I first saw as like the things that the teachers played in those last couple days before Christmas break when they also didn't want to be there anymore. And I feel like I watched a lot of those movies as part of that like run up to Christmas break at school. Because I don't think we got Muppet Christmas Carol in my family until like probably the later 90s, or at home. I don't think we had like a copy of it. I don't think we clocked it when it first came out. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm gonna have to fact check that with my parents. But yeah, I don't think we started watching it as a family until the like later 90s, because we were, you know, we just moved to Ohio, which is a terrible thing. Don't do that to your children. It's a horrible place, which is like time traveling itself. You know, we had to re-get a lot of culture in Ohio. All the radios are 10 years behind. It's a thing.
It's still the 1980s there.
It's still the 1980s there in many regards. I'm just going to shit on Ohio for a little bit here. Don't mind me.
Tis the season.
But yeah, so I don't remember watching it at home until probably like 96, 97, I would think. But yeah, school is my first key memory of watching it. So it was like with a bunch of other kids in a group setting, really appreciating the Muppetness of it all.
Mm-hmm. You know,
How about
I
you?
feel like the Muppets were always part of my holiday experience, because for as long as I can remember, because like the Muppets and John Denver's Christmas album,
Mm-hmm.
and then Muppet Family Christmas is one of my absolute favorite
Yep.
Christmas movies. Plus, I love a crossover. You know, in Muppet Family Christmas, that's where you have the Muppets and the Sesame Street Gang and the Fraggles all in one TV special.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, you know, and then if you know who Jim Henson is at that young age, when you see him at the end, I'm just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's just so touching to see how nice it is to have everyone home for the holidays. But the Muppet Christmas Carol was really like the first time that that I remember seeing the Muppets as like a tool, like an educational tool, you know, because like sure, the Christmas Carol is a story that you kind of grow up knowing. But the Muppets put it in a way that you really got it, you know, because it's not like the Cliff Notes version. It's like the actual
It's full
version,
on, yeah.
but it makes it all a little easier to digest. It could be the songs, it could be the Muppets themselves, it could be Michael Caine's phenomenal performance. But of all the adaptations of A Christmas Carol that I've seen throughout my life in various forms, this is the one that stands out as the most memorable.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the
Yeah, and I think
songs.
that it's for good reason, and
Mm-hmm.
it's, you know, you talk about how it holds your attention with the songs and the comedy and the Muppets and all of that, but also just the care and attention that was put into it, the level of detailing on the costumes to make them historically appropriate, the level of effort that went into the sets for this thing. Like, this is, you know, Michael Caine may comment on it being the most accurate to Dickens, and I think he's right about that as well. Now that the more I think about it, the more that feels accurate, because they cut out less of the things that a lot of people sort of skim over. But they also were accurate to the period. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those little costumes are cut appropriately to the 1880 or 1850s. The you know the even when they do the back in time to Fozziwigs, they change the costume styles to match with the era of when Scrooge would have been younger. That level of detail was not necessary, Muppets. You didn't have to do that, but you did, and that it pays. It pays off. It makes a difference.
And you know, they even start with the Marleys were dead to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't recall many other adaptations really starting there.
Really going with the text, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's staying faithful to the text in that way is appreciated. You know, I mean, sure, as a writer, I'm gonna always appreciate when the text is honored, right? But you know, I think that does add an element of authenticity to this,
Mm-hmm.
because you know they're taking it seriously, even
Yeah.
though it's completely goofy that that Charles Dickens is played by the great Gonzo and Rizzo is with him. You know.
But having Dickens in the frame even is such a great choice, because the narrative voice of Dickens guiding you through this morality tale is part of the book experience, and now it's part of this movie experience.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we have talked about the songs. We mentioned the songs a bit. But the whole controversy with the Muppet Christmas Carol is the song "When Love Is Gone."
Mm-hmm.
Originally, uh, it was sung by Belle, who was Scrooge's love interest. And you know, he kept putting off the marriage and putting off the marriage, and it's this really heartbreaking song of someone falling out of love with somebody who's chosen their career over them. And it's it's really dark, you know, for a Christmas movie, for a Disney movie, for a Muppet movie, which
Mm-hmm.
is why the chairman of the Disney company at the time, Jeffrey Katzenberg, cut the song from the original theatrical cut. But because he cut that, the song at the end doesn't make sense. Because the song at the end is When Love Is Found.
It's a reprise, yeah.
It's a reprise. So, like, it, he thinks that, like, kids aren't going to get it. But, you know, I was like, even though I was super young in 92, I was just like, wait a minute. What? So, I remember watching it with the song in, and then watching it again on TV and having the song be cut, and I'm like, that
Oh.
doesn't make sense, you know. And I think young viewers wouldn't oppose to that song being left in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't. I don't know what Katzenberg was thinking because it just like really made a whole element of the movie nonsensical, even
Yeah.
though everything else had taken such great care to make everything work.
And it's hardly the darkest thing in the movie.
Yeah, right. I mean, Tiny Tim.
Yeah, Tiny Tim is a good thing. Yeah, that's a good one to call out.
Although, you know, at the end, Dickens is like Tiny Tim, who did not die.
Yes, who is not very important. We call this out. No Tiny Tims were harmed in the filming of this.
Yes. But, you know, after years and years of people, you know, clamoring for When Love Is Gone to be returned into the cut of the film, it was finally restored in 2020 when Disney Plus managed, like, Disney archivists who have been working tirelessly with Henson and with their own records and things have been trying to find like a master copy, you know, with the number intact. But it
It
was
is
lost.
wild to think that it was destroyed so utterly.
I know. I can't believe it. Like the way that so many film and television like things, like iconic things, props and sets and stuff like that, were just destroyed or lost to time or given away.
Yeah.
You know, it that's why I really love the work that like film archivists and, you know, the those type of people, collectors, even like
Yeah.
private collectors who will find something and restore it. You know, Back to the Future fans restoring the original DeLorean
Oh, yeah.
to being screen accurate. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's an entire show on Disney Plus called Prop Culture.
Yes. Yes.
It's
I've
a
watched some of that.
it's an excellent show where they hunt down important artifacts from the Disney catalog and try to bring them back, or at least, you know, showcase them in a way where they're being taken care of.
Yeah.
But yeah, with this original video master or the negative, you know, being lost for decades, we could never get a proper cut of the Muppet Christmas Carol until 2020 when Henson finally revealed that they found what they were looking for. And so they put Muppet Christmas Carol with the song intact on Disney Plus finally. So you can go on Disney Plus right now and watch it there.
The unexpurgated version.
Yes, exactly. But as good as that song is, my favorite song from the movie, I think, would have to be "It Feels Like Christmas,"
Oh, yeah.
because, you know, it. I almost feel like it doesn't feel like Christmas until I hear that song.
Yeah. No, that's a good choice. That's a good choice for favorite song.
Uh, oh, you're you're a small absent-minded or what's the line about the absent-minded spirit?
Oh, you're a little absent-minded, Spirit. He's like, I'm a big absent-minded spirit.
Oh my god, Ansel, can you cosplay as the ghost of Christmas Present?
You're not the first person to say that I should do that.
You gotta give the people what they want, Ansel.
Apparently I need to do that.
Oh my god, I wish we could have a Christmas party and you can come dressed as the ghost of Christmas Present.
Gotta do it before I start getting more Santa than Ghost of Christmas Present.
But the interesting thing about the Muppets Christmas Carol, for me anyway, was that I was afraid of it when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, because the Marleys were super scary to me. I would always like cover my eyes during that part.
Fair. That's fair. That's spooky. The Ghost of Christmas Future is also super spooky.
Like I remember it was that, and it was Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. That were both very scary to me as a kid, but now I love them both as an adult. Yeah,
I was going to say One More Sleep Till Christmas is the song that I think is.
I mean, that's a great song. That
always
too.
Is in my head.
I was just going to bring up Kermit, and how he's not the star of the movie, which is not odd, but it's different for the Muppets because typically he is the star, but he still has one of the best songs in the movie.
Oh, for sure. There's something about the Kermit voice that lends itself to music, and I don't know what it is, but there's something about it. I mean, Rainbow Connection is such a green. Yeah, right.
We were talking about in the It's a Wonderful Life episode how the cast is so tight because you're basically dealing with these same characters, right? But the Muppets Christmas Carol has such a large cast as the Muppets movies tend to do. Do you have a favorite like side character?
Oh man, that's a great question. I do love Fozziwig. I think that Fozziwig is such a great it's a great usage of Fozzie as a character and a great like interpretation of Fezziwig. Just what a perfect choice. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think it's Fozziwig for me.
I'm torn because Sam Eagle as the schoolmaster is very funny, but only has like a couple lines, right? He's not in a ton of it, but
I mean, yeah, most of them aren't in a ton of it. Yeah.
That's true.
As you're saying, there's a lot of breadth in this cast.
But like when he's like, it's the American way, and then Dickens comes up to him and is like, Sam, no, it's the British way. And then he says, it's the British way. But I'm torn because Bean Bunny is so cute.
Sure.
When he comes caroling.
Heck, Cheeses for Us Mises. Those mice, top billing.
Yes. I do love that bit.
It's a good bit. Like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, obviously Gonzo just absolutely sings in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, it's odd to me how much Gonzo and Kermit speak to me on like a personal level in a lot of ways. And Gonzo's usual deal of being like the person who doesn't fit in anywhere finally finding a place where he fits in is like such a beautiful thing. And the fact that we still get a little bit of that in him being Dickens, but more importantly, we get to see Gonzo just owning a space. And I don't know why that really like makes the movie that much better for me, but it really does. Something about Gonzo getting to be in his element from word one the whole time. Super cool.
Yeah, it definitely gives the outcasts hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard Brett Goldstein's quote about the Muppets?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so for our friends at home, Brett Goldstein plays Roy Kent in Ted Lasso. He is also one of the writers on the show, and he is a huge Muppets fan, which is hard to believe considering the hardened character that he plays whenever he's Roy. But he's gone on record a ton to like talk about how much he loves the Muppets, and there's this one quote that I really love, where he's reminding people that like the Muppets resonate for a reason, and he said the secret of the Muppets is they're not very good at what they do. Kermit's not a great host. Fozzie's not a great comedian. Miss Piggy's not a great singer. Like, none of them are actually good at it, but they fucking love it. They're a family and they like to put on the show and they have joy. And because of the joy, it doesn't matter that they're not good at it. And that's what we should all be like, Muppets.
I did see this. Did you post this recently? Because I did see this.
I may have, yeah.
Yeah.
I do love this quote.
It's a great quote.
Reminder.
That's brilliant.
And like part of why I wanted to do this series this month, is because of the joy. I think a lot of people will forget about the joy throughout the year because times are so tough, because things make them forget. But the Muppets have always been and will always be a reminder to the world that it's okay to not be great at what you do and to do it because you love it and the joy of it.
Well, and to scrape by the skin of your teeth with the help of your friends.
It's true. George Bailey.
There you go.
It ties back.
It's all coming back.
No one is a failure if you have friends, right? I'm sensing a theme in our series this month, Ansel.
I don't know if that's just a Christmas movie theme or if we did that subconsciously. But
I think we might have done it subconsciously. I want to. I like to believe that.
might be a little bit us, yeah.
A little bit. Well, since we are not giving anyone any homework this month,
not even us.
So instead of our usual edutainment, we've just been, having some fun talking about these movies, but also we don't want to send you home empty-handed. We want to give our trademark rules for drinking.
Time to party favors.
Absolutely. Oh, you love the party favors.
I'm making it happen.
It's gonna happen. I'm gonna remember it one of these days. It's absolutely gonna happen. So I wanted to make one of my roles related to Gonzo. So whenever Charles Dickens and Rizzo are being meta, so like in the beginning when they're talking about the Marleys are dead to begin with, Rizzo is just like, oh, that's what's that about? And then Gonzo explains it. Like those moments like that happen enough that I think making it a drinking rule could be very fun for you.
That's good. I like that. I kind of got lost early on in trying to think of my smoking rules or drinking rules, because I immediately thought about shot rules, and there are too many people involved in the production of this movie, from Jim in absentia all the way through Brian, and all of the amazing voices and puppeteers who brought us through our childhoods and gave us all these wonderful pieces of media, that you'd be drunk and dead before the movie got started just from the respect shots. So let's just in general do a shot for respect for the Muppets as a whole,
as a collective.
Unit. Yes, for the Muppets and all the people underneath them.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my nomination for respect shot. And probably one for Michael Caine as well while you're at it.
Absolutely. Oh, Sir Michael.
What a absolute gem.
He recently
I think he
retired,
said some unfortunate things recently, and I can't remember them, but I'm going to choose to ignore them for now.
Why do people have to keep doing stuff like that?
I don't know. We should stop interviewing actors. Is really what I'm learning.
It's the curse of knowing too much. You know, like we have access to all of these people now and what they're actually like when they're not being our favorite characters.
Oh, I remember what it is. He was saying that intimacy coordinators were silly.
Really? Michael Caine?
Yeah. Right? He was like, yeah, it kind of ruins the moment, was his sort of takeaway, which...
God, jeez.
I mean, not a great take, but I guess not the worst thing. We've heard worse things from people his age.
We've heard worse things from people our age.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess we don't need to make that qualifier.
God, I remember when I heard worse things from Rob Schneider, and I'm like,
oh
God, why,
bro.
Anyway, I think you should smoke for the ghosts. Take a hit when a new ghost is introduced, because spooky smoke and stuff.
Yeah, spooky smoke. I would like to amend that and suggest that you also smoke when Ghost of Christmas Present changes age.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Give yourself 2 extras in that one. It'll push you towards the end there.
Yeah, and that ghost, he stays with us.
He does. Yeah,
he's a real memorable ghost. In fact, is he the one ghost that we spend the most time with?
Probably. I mean, Christmas Past, we spend a fair amount of time with, but we don't. Not in frame. Christmas Past isn't in the shot the whole time.
Yes, we're just getting
whereas
the
Christmas
exposition.
Present is like there.
Yeah. Well, I've had thousands of brothers before me. Oh, imagine the grocery bills. And there you go. That's my last rule. Every time a character makes a pun, I'm gonna attribute that to Charles Dickens. One of those old timey jokes like that.
Wordplay.
Yeah, Dickens is great at it.
Yep. Yep.
That Dickens is going somewhere, Ansel.
Yeah, I think he might just make it.
I think he's got something there.
Moxie. High word counts.
Oh man. Yeah, so as much as we love you listening to us, you should probably turn this off and go watch Muppet Christmas Carol.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, if you've gotten this far in the month and haven't done so yet, why are you robbing yourself of such joy?
Yes, you have earned this.
Absolutely.
At the very least.
Yes, and after you watch it, you can find us on the internet. I'm at Silverio20 on X and Instagram and Blue Sky and all those other things.
I am at The Indecisionist on most of those things, except for X, where I am at Indecisionist. If you care to find that. I don't post there very often, but I do exist there.
If the ship hasn't completely sunk yet.
Yeah, no.
And you can join the conversation by using the hashtag #Time2Party. That's time the number 2 party.
Or time the number 2 party, all one word, spelled out, thanks to Warwick.
And while you are doing your best to keep Christmas in your heart all year round, you can do that by remembering to be excellent to each other.
Party on, dudes.